Hello everybody and welcome to, well, I guess this is going to be a single episode of Let's Play Europa Universalis 3 Divine Wind, Death and Taxes with your host Shenra. I have upgraded to, well, not upgraded, I've updated to the latest version of Death and Taxes, which is 5.14, and it is significantly different from 4.9, which is what I did my last series as. 5.14 has some stuff that I frankly do not enjoy, but you take the good with the bad, I guess. I mean, they have added a lot of things which are cool, and they are working on a major update, which is 6.0. And 6.0 is going to address some of the things that people did not like with version 5, and they are going to they're generally moving in directions that look really cool. So I've not written off Death and Taxes future updates as being uninteresting. I've not done that. I'm just waiting for 6.0 before I do another real Let's Play of the game. But I wanted to do this so I could show you a feature that is in Death and Taxes, because it's actually really, really neat. If you start a single player game, and it doesn't matter what time, you can actually just let the computer play and you can just watch. And for me, that is really interesting to do. It's interesting to see what each country will attempt to do in the time period that you have in the game without any human interaction whatsoever. I mean, there's nothing that you can do if you just want to watch the computer play. So the way you do that is you go all the way over here to the Pacific Ocean and you find this bright orange dot. This is Tahiti. Now, under normal EU3, Tahiti is not a country, it's just an island. You colonize it, and there you go. But in Death and Taxes, Tahiti was created with the entire point being you play outside of the game. You just sit there and observe, and that's all you can do. You can't really have much interaction with the entire world. You're not supposed to have any, but you can have a tiny little bit. And the options that I did for this, I just set everything on what I normally use. Everything's on normal and difficulty on very hard, and Lucky Nation's none. I just whatever. And when you jump in, what you get is, well, after this welcome message, this is part of version 5 because they added the in extenso mini mod. That's fine. I'm not going to use auto build. I don't know what that does. It sounds bad. Create a proper fleet, whatever. So we're centered on our nation and we can't even see it. It's right here under the cursor. That's where Tahiti is. Anyway, if you start a Death and Taxes game as Tahiti, this is what you get. You can't see anything, you can't do anything, you can't even see your own goddamn island. But if you go to decisions, then there is one called Tahiti Watching Title. And what this does is it discovers the entire world. I'm not going to click it now because I have discover new territory notification turned on. So if you go to the menu and you go to message settings, I don't know where it is. When you discover a new territory, I have it set to pop up and pause, which is what I normally want to do in my games. But if you do that, pop up and pause, discover new territory, when you're playing as Tahiti and you hit Tahiti Watching Title, you'll get a lot of pop-ups. And it'll take a long time to close them all. So turn off that message before you hit this button. And then just wait a couple minutes for the game to recover, because it actually takes a long time to uncover all that territory. So wait a couple minutes for that and then go ahead and play. And you can't really do anything as Tahiti. But let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. I hope these resign screens go quickly. Krang wisely did DAT setup title. Oh man, that is hilarious. Alright, so this is what it looks like. This is the starting date. 10th of January, 1356. It is the starting date, and I made a save file on the starting date because I did it after all those pop-ups, because I did not turn off those pop-ups for discovering new territory. I, like a boss, just hit enter for however many pop-ups there were. Anyway, so this is what it looks like. You get to see the whole world. You can't see any ocean spaces, which kind of pisses me off, because it makes it really hard to see islands. Like, you might never know that there's an island here, Orkney, and the Shetland Islands, you can't even see them. But, you know, I think you can mouse over it. Yeah, right there. There you go. I just clicked on nothing, and there's an island there. The Faroe Islands. There they are. Not the Shetland, the Faroe Islands. Yeah, Faroe Islands are right there. You can click on them, but you can't see them. And, you know, same thing applies down here. The Canaries are down here somewhere. You can't see them, but you can click on them. Anyway, it discovers everything except ocean tiles. I wish it would also discover ocean tiles, but whatever. So this is what version 5.14 looks like. Majapahit is this red blob, and they have all of Indonesia is vassalized by Majapahit, which is kind of an interesting setup. I would have thought during this campaign that Majapahit would have, you know, annexed all their vassals and become supremely powerful, and then pushed up this way and been a force against China, you know, stuff like that. But no, it didn't really happen. So this is how it starts, and you can't really do anything as Tahiti because you are a horde. That's right, your government type is a horde. We are, if I can click myself there, we have a level 6 fort. We have one dude, but our one dude is oh, it's a soldier. Okay, I thought it was a cannon. Anyway, it's a soldier, and you're not allowed to build boats. You can build soldiers. No, you can't. You can recruit mercenary soldiers. No, you can't. You can't do anything. You can't recruit dudes. You can't build boats. You can't do shit. But you start with a fort. You start with a dude, and you know you have kings. Whatever. Make them a general. Whatever. Hey, I've got a general. Anyway, because you're a horde, you don't get the normal interaction with other countries. You can't do anything other than gold or give them Tahiti. You can't give them Tahiti because it's your only territory. So the only thing you can do is pay people money. That's it. So that's it. There's nothing you can do. You just watch. And so that's an interesting way to play. I'm not going to do that right here, but I'm going to show you. I already did an entire game all the way to 1861, and what I want to do is show you guys the way the world moved along during all those saves. So that's all I'm going to do here. And this took about, I want to say, about a week and a half. Maybe a little less than a week and a half. It took a while. Alright, so we start in 1356. The next save file I made was 9 years later. 7th of August, 1365. Let's get in game. Alright, New World, not a whole lot happened. Over here you can see Poland and Hungary are at war. Novgorod, Hungary, Wallachia, Serbia. Poland's at war with a lot of shit. And Lithuania is allied. Not a personal union? Nope, just allied with Poland. And they're at war with all these guys. So that's probably bad. Oh, yeah. This is one major strangeness. France and England, they went to war literally right at the start. I mean, the moment I unpaused it from the very beginning of the game, 1356, France and England went to war. And the war lasted until, I don't know, 1680. It lasted like 350 years. And it was just, nothing happened. Nobody did anything. But because they were constantly at war, France could never annex their vassals. They never like really became, true France. They just stayed as a king with a bunch of vassals. And it's a really weird. I've never seen that happen where they just won't get peace. But that seems to happen quite a bit in 5.14. They just won't get peace. Anyway, the main focus that I had when I was playing, well, not playing, but watching, I was watching Yuan, because I was waiting for them to fall to all of these guys, because Yuan is a celestial khanate, and all these other guys are celestial empires. And typically, what people have said when they play 5.14 is these celestial empires will team up with Jurchen. And once they've teamed up with Jurchen, they will all fight Yuan, and they'll all kick Yuan's ass. And, usually the Ming or sometimes even Jurchen will come in and just take over everything. Because Yuan is really a pushover. They're not very stable. They tend to have a lot of rebellions, stuff like that. So you're just waiting for them to fall over. So I was watching Yuan, and I was waiting for that to happen. I was also watching India, because usually Vijayanagar, in all the games I've ever played of Death and Taxes, Vijayanagar has always been just extremely powerful. And then I think one time Delhi became extremely powerful as a Hindu state, which was odd because normally, normally it's the Hindu state that becomes powerful, but Delhi as a Muslim state became powerful in India. Now that was my last campaign. That was just odd to see the Muslim nation get powerful. You see the Mameluks annexed Ethiopia entirely, because early in the game, all the provinces that Ethiopia has are very, very, very low war score. They're not very valuable. So they were just able to annex them straight up, one war. I was watching Poland, because they seem to get in a lot of wars. And I was watching France, because I was wondering if they were ever going to get out of this war with England. And they never really did until really late in the game. And of course, watching Muscovy and Novgorod and seeing who would get dominance of the Russian territories. Anyway, so let's load up the next save and see how the world has changed. You can see Morocco down here. Oh no, that's Mali. Never mind. Morocco will come down here, but that'll be later. But yeah, there's very few games where you can actually just watch the AI do stuff. That was one of the things that I liked about Aerobiz, was you can choose to be a human player, and then you can resign the game as a human player, and then that lets you watch the computer play entirely on its own. Okay, so the next save I had was 34 years later in 1399. So let's see what's happened in 34 years. New World, absolutely nothing. Well, not absolutely nothing. I'm sure they've switched territories a little bit, but for the most part, you still have a lot of small states here, and the dominant states here are still being dominant. Here comes Morocco. They've come down. They actually won a war against Songhai to take these two. And Kanem-Borno used to have all this all the way over here, and then they lost a war to Songhai, and they made them spit out Sokoto. Alright, so you can see Golden Horde has been pushing. Golden Horde annexed Georgia entirely, and they've pushed into Hungary, pushed into Poland, pushed into Lithuania. They've been pushing. France and England still at war. It has now been 40 years since they started that war. Still going strong. The Jalyarids. And Vijayanagar has gotten stronger. Jalyarids are big. Yuan is actually growing because they're annexing this horde over here. They're just colonizing them. And that's it. Nothing else happening. Japan is slowly getting taken over by Imagawa. Other than that, that's about it. So that's... Oh, Mamelukes have gotten bigger. Mamelukes have pushed up into Ottoman lands, pushed up. They conquered Adal, but you can see they have some revolts. Adalan nationalists, Mamlukian peasants, Ethiopian nationalists. They got some revolts to deal with. But they're looking nice and strong. They've conquered a lot of Arabia. So I was curious if they would become like a dominant force in the Middle East, because there's no one really around here that can stand up to them, except maybe if they go the wrong direction. If they go west, if they get cocky and like cross the what is this called, the Sea of Marmara. If they cross the Sea of Marmara and get into this area, then you run into a different tech group, and you run into people that may be part of the HRE, and that could be big trouble for the Mamluks. But they didn't do that. They stayed on this side, well, for the most part. Anyway, let's move on to the next save state. Due to the lack of anything to note, Nobuyuta the First is known as Nobuyuta the Idol, because he didn't do anything as king of Tahiti. Alright, so 1427. This is another 30 years later. Let's see if anything's happened. I'm sure it has. Stuff always happens. Oh, pirates. Pirates are blocking Tahiti's port. Oh no. Whatever are we gonna do? We're a fucking horde. We can't build units. Go away. Okay, so Morocco has not done a whole lot. The Mamluks have conquered some of the Ottomans, and they're pushing into Timurids lands now. They've conquered some of the Jalurids. Timurids got really big really quick. They're a horde as well. Notice this. When I click on a horde, I can interact with hordes, because I am also a horde. I thought that was really interesting, that I could interact with other hordes, like the Golden Horde, Kazakhstan, well, not Stan, but Kazakh. Siberia doesn't exist, but you click on the hordes, you actually have options. Guarantee them, offer alliance, whatever. Yuan has been growing steadily. They completely annexed the Oirat horde, and they're moving into Kazakh, and looks like they're going to get all that too. Vijayanagar has not done a whole lot, but they've gotten a tiny bit bigger. Delhi has been going to annex the hordes, and let me tell you, these lands here, these lands are nice and profitable. They're easy to move between them. These lands, they're harder to move between because there's a lot of mountains. And then these lands, they're hard to move between because they're very, very large territories. See, they're just huge territories, physically very large. So it takes a long time to move troops between them. So I don't like taking these lands, but no, I've done it in a couple of my Let's Plays. I just don't like them. They're too gigantic. That's what she said. Anyway, over here in Europe, you can see Golden Horde has pushed a little further. They took Carpathia. They took a lot more of Lithuania. Smolensk spat out. England and France still at war. So it's like 100 years now. Oh, not 100 years, like 80 years now. It's a long time. England, look at this. England annexed all of Sicily. They also annexed what was left of Byzantium. This used to be Byzantium down here, Larissa and Athens. They annexed that. And who was it? Was it Moria? I don't know. Some country annexed Byzantium. And the moment they annexed it, Byzantium had a rebellion. And when Byzantium rebels, it's like 25 troops. It's insane. So if you don't have, 30 troops sitting there when the rebellion occurs, you might as well just ignore it and let them take it. That's what happened. So whatever the country was that took Byzantium, the moment they took it, 25 units spawned as a rebellion, and they took it back. Anyway, let's go to the next save state. The reign of Nobutora is remembered only for his drunkenness. I like it. I like that. Alright, so that was 1427. The next one is 30 years later. 1469. I didn't intend to do these 30 years apart. I would play for like an hour or two. Well, not play, but watch for like an hour or two. And then I would have to go to work or have to go to bed or whatever. I didn't get to play a whole lot of time at once. Alright, so 1469, not a whole lot in the world. In the new world, most of the stuff is all the same. Songhai annexed, what are they called? Sokoto and Kanemborno. So they're looking good. Morocco is colonizing this way. See, Golden Horde is still fighting all these guys, but look at this. Golden Horde took over all these Russian territories here. That's a couple countries in there. Well, small countries, but there they are. England and France, still at war. It's now 100 years since the start of the game. Golden Horde, look at this. The Golden Horde has gone just all the way over here. And Delhi has all the way over here into the Timurid lands. The Mameluks are slowly conquering all of Asia Minor. They've also taken Edirne. They crossed the Sea of Marmara. Not a smart idea. And they're pushing into the Timurids. They're probably going to take a lot of that too. Yuan has not collapsed at all. They haven't done anything except grow. They're still pushing at the Golden Horde. And that's about it. Not a whole lot happening in Europe. That's one of the strangest things I've seen in this game. All these countries, they normally go to war with each other a lot in all the games that I've played. But in this version, 5.14, they didn't go to war with each other at all. Like, it was really, really peaceful over here, which is odd. But whatever. Serbia annexed Wallachia. You can see that. They pushed a little south. They pushed a little west. So Serbia is looking nice. Let's see what the next save state has. The reign of Nobuharu II is only remembered for his bastards. Wow. So he had a lot of nookie. Well, not with his wife. Okay, so that was 1469. Let's move on to 1512. So this is 43 years later. Okay, you can see colonization has begun. Portugal down here in Brazil and Castile up here in northern South America. Nobody colonized Africa yet except Morocco. Morocco colonized the coast. This is also Morocco down here. So they're colonizing steadily. Mamelukes look even more powerful than before. Mamelukes took some coast up here, Silistria and Dobrogia. Mamelukes also conquered Moria down here. Serbia took a lot of Hungary. Hungary's gone. Look at that. There's nothing left of Hungary. Bohemia took a lot. Transylvania was spat out. Austria took some. Aquileia took some. And Serbia. So Hungary just got divided up. Poland pushing a little bit to the east. Looks like the Golden Horde is going to collapse for good. Here it is, 1512, and they don't look so hot. There's a lot of rebellions. There's a lot of people fighting them. The Yuan are expanding into their territory. It looks like Delhi lost some territory to Yuan, because this all used to be Delhi, and now it's Yuan. Well, most of it's Yuan. And look at this, Vijayanagar is gone. There is no Vijayanagar. It's just Deccan now. So that's interesting. The two main Muslim states of India have taken over. So that is 1512. And you guessed it, France is still at war with England. They're also... oh, it's Burgundy. Burgundy's at war with the Palatinate, Lorraine, Novgorod, Bar, Alsace, and I was also wondering if Burgundy would form Lotharingia. Because that is a new country that you can form in Death and Taxes. It's Lotharingia. And I was wondering if the AI would be able to do it. It's basically just a bigger version of Burgundy. And you probably get some small tech bonuses and stuff like that. Anyway, Lithuania is expanding into the Golden Horde. Poland looks like they're expanding Golden Horde as well. So let's see how big they can get in the next save state. That was 1512. Now we're looking for Oh, really? I didn't make one between 1512 and 1645. Wow, that is a huge jump in time. It's going to be 130 years later. That's amazing. Well, whatever. Alright, you can see Majapahit has taken some of its vassals, so they've expanded into Sumatra and Borneo, but they lost Irian to Malacca, and Malacca has taken a lot of land, because Malacca starts as just a one-province minor. All they have is Malacca. But they're usually pretty profitable because they have a center of trade there, which is used by everyone. So that's kind of cool. Also, you can see the Mameluks are over here in Pose. That's nice to have the Mameluks colonizing, or whatever the fuck they did there. And Taiwan is colonized by Yemen. Yemen has also colonized this northern island, Japan. What's it called? Hokkaido? And Yuan. Holy fucking shit. Look at the Yuan. See, I thought they would collapse. They did the exact opposite of collapsing. They expanded like motherfuckers. And Delhi, man, they are really big for an Indian nation. Deccan also doing really well. Mamluks extremely well. Look at this. Mamluks have taken land all the way down here. Mamluks have gone up here into Europe. And that's crazy. Mamluks are over here. Mamluks just being boss. Look at Poland. Damn, I really wish I could have shown you all of this. I can't believe it was 130 years between save states. Let me tell you the story of Poland between 1512 and 1645. Poland somehow got into a personal union with Austria. And Austria had, you know, the typical Austrian lands right over here. And Poland eventually annexed Austria. They inherited Austria. And I thought that was strange enough because you had like a separate Poland. You know, Poland was right here, and then you had the like Western Poland over here. And it was really strange. And the moment that they got, Austria, they got war declared by Bohemia. And Bohemia, you know, this big blob right here. And they lost that war to Bohemia. Poland lost to Bohemia, and Bohemia made them spit out Styria and Bosnia, and they just seemed a lot weaker. And after they made peace, they had like 10 years, and then all of a sudden Poland became leaders in a personal union with Bohemia. And I was like, what the fuck? How did this just happen? So they had two personal unions, Bohemia and Austria, really, really close together in time. And they inherited both of them. And it just blew my fucking mind because Poland was a very weak country. They were split in half. They were on the verge of being destroyed. They had like 2 provinces in the north. They had like 3 or 4 provinces in the south. And they were forced to spit out Ukraine. Ukraine was all these lands all the way over to here. So Ukraine went all the way over to here. See, they have Ukraine core right here. So all the way from here to over what Ukraine is right now. This was all Ukraine, and that split Poland in half. Poland only had, you know, 2 provinces up here, and then like 3 or 4 down here. I thought they were goners, you know. And then they all of a sudden inherited Austria, and then they went to war with Ukraine and took all that back. But then they lost that war, and I thought, okay, maybe that was just like a small upturn. But then they got another fucking personal union. I couldn't believe it. And then they inherited another. Anyway, England and France, still at war. They just won't get peace. And see, this is bothering me, because this is now 300 years into the game, and England and France still are at war. It's the same war from the start of the game. No peace, same war for 300-something years. And that is absurd. That should not happen. Anyway, New World colonizing has been extensive. Portugal has taken most of South America. Castile has taken this chunk in the middle. You want to call this Central America? Go for it. Castile has taken Central America. Portugal has also colonized, you know, Mexico and up into the U.S. England has colonized quite a bit into the U.S. Sweden has gone up north. France has done some over here. and that's about it. Anyway, the rest of the countries in Europe, you can see Burgundy finally. Once Burgundy takes these lowlands right here, once they take these lowlands, and then they kind of get ideas that, you know what, these countries, these little territories are profitable, we should get more. Because most of the states, all these states you see are now Burgundian lands. These are all just like one province minors, two province minors. They are nothing that can stand up against Burgundy. So of course, Burgundy just conquered them one by one by one by one. They all got annexed. Milan. At this point, Milan was looking really powerful. Oh, I guess it hasn't happened yet. No, it hasn't happened yet. Well, Milan will look a lot more powerful soon. And I thought for sure they would form Italy because they were just, going gangbusters in this region. But, well, you can see the Mameluks looking very nice, controlling parts of Europe. Yuan looking hugely blobby as a motherfuck. Look at that. Even Yuan is almost into Europe. I mean, this is almost Europe right here, This is ridiculous. Novgorod doing the colonizing thing. They're obviously the dominant Russian power. Muscovy would never stand a chance in a direct war with Novgorod. And in Japan, not much. I don't think anything has changed in a long time in Japan. Usegi conquered this. That's about it. Anyway, it just blows my mind that Yuan has not collapsed by now, because they were supposed to. This should not happen. 1650, Yuan should not be like that. They shouldn't even exist. It's strange. Anyway, let's check out the next save state. Oh, that was one thing. In version 5 of Death and Taxes, they tried to focus colonization. And I think this is just an awful idea. But what they did is they made countries like England, Castile, Portugal, France. They made European countries colonize America. And they made African countries colonize Africa. So Morocco is the one doing all the colonizing down here, not, Castile, not, England. And I thought that was just stupid. But whatever. It's my opinion. The people who make the mod can do whatever they want. But the Europeans did eventually come down here, but the only reason they eventually came down here to colonize down here is after they had colonized everything they could reach in North America. After everything they could reach was colonized, then they colonized down here. It's just ridiculous. I mean, there's a lot of reason why all these countries in Europe, historically went and made little colonies, like on the coast of Africa, like at Dakar and Accra and stuff like that. They made all these little colonies for a reason. Oh, whatever. Just another little thing that I didn't like in version 5 of Death and Taxes. Trying to direct what the AI does is a little silly. Anyway, let's load up the next save state, see what happens beyond 1645. There we go. 1676, so about 30 years. That's more reasonable than 120 or whatever the last gap was. That really sucks. I thought for sure I would have made some saves in there because it was interesting watching what Poland was doing was very interesting. Oh, look at this. You can see Brittany, Oceana. Brittany is the one colonizing in Oceana, if you want to call it that, Oceana. Brittany's also colonizing the Philippines. That's really cool. So Brittany's the one getting it done over here. And Yuan, they're getting super blobby. Yuan went to war with Delhi and took a lot of Delhi. And they also went to war with Novgorod and took a lot of Novgorod. They're still at war with Novgorod. Muscovy hasn't done anything. Lithuania grew big. Lithuania has been taking territory from Prussia and from Novgorod. And Poland. Look at Poland. Holy shit. They are like super Poland. So one of the things that you can do if you are Poland is you can form the Jagiellon Empire. I think it's Jagiellon, or however you pronounce it. Anyway, but you can't do that unless you control certain provinces in what they wanted to call the Jagiellon region. If we go to region. Jagiellon is this blue blob here. So you would have to control these if you wanted to do the Jagiellon Empire, which I thought is, I, I think it's kind of dumb. Because Poland, as this is just the AI, I didn't do any of this. Because Poland has become so powerful, they should be able to do whatever it is that would get them, small bonuses, a name change, a flag change, whatever. At this point, they really are like a huge multicultural empire. They have annexed all of Bohemia. They've annexed all of Austria. They own almost all of the Balkans here, and they own a huge amount of Central and Eastern Europe. They should be able to have some kind of bonus for that, but they don't get anything because they don't own like 2 or 3 regions here that are key to the Jagiellon Empire. So I thought that was really stupid, but whatever. Poland is what Poland is. France and England, they're still at war. We're beyond 300 years and they're still at war. Oh man, they need to get peace, but they won't. They just won't. Colonizing, you can see Sweden's colonizing going south, England is colonizing going west. All this is all done. Africa is getting colonized a lot. Castile's actually going to war to take land from the African nations. That's kind of cool. Castile also took Madras, and Castile also took Jiangmen. So I thought that at least was really, really cool. Even though I didn't like that the AI is forced to colonize this way first. I didn't like that. Even though that was true, once they were done with all that shit, they came over here and did, the typical African stuff. But then they also took just one little province here and just one little province here. And I thought that was really neat because historically this is exactly what the European nations did in Asia. In India and Asia, they all took these one little province, which usually it wasn't a province. Usually it was just a port because they wanted the trade. So they would take one little port like these, and then that's it. They didn't do anything else beyond that. Then they would trade with all the people they found there, and they made money. So historically, that is really cool. I like that. I don't like the rest of all the colonizing. Anyway, Mameluks looking very boss. Mameluks have a lot of the Middle East. They have a lot of Arabia. They have a lot of Northeast Africa. They still have the majority of Asian Minor Peninsula. But the problem for the Mamelukes now is they border Poland, and they also border Lithuania and Muscovy, and this is just bad for them. It's not so bad that they border Yuan, because the Mamelukes are allied with Delhi, and they've had several wars with Yuan, and Yuan keeps winning, but having the Mamelukes help Delhi has made it more even, because they're about the same size blob. But now that the Mamelukes border all these other countries, which are supremely powerful, if we go to the tech group, see Poland's tech is awesome, Burgundy's tech is awesome, Mamelukes tech not so awesome. So the problem here is these guys are all going to go to war with the Mamelukes at the same time, and it's just not going to be nice for the Mamelukes. It's going to be bad, very, very bad. Not much happening over here. I was kind of hoping that Brunei would unite its island would unite all of Borneo under its own flag, and I was hoping Malacca and Majapahit would have enough wars with each other that one of them would become ruler of most of Indonesia, but it hasn't happened. Nothing is happening in Japan. You can see Imagawa is slowly growing, but I mean it's so slow. It's just not anything substantial. That's what she said. Anyway, let's move on to the next save state and see if Burgundy can form Lotharingia, see if France will ever get peace with England, and look at this. Brandenburg hasn't done anything since the start of the game. They're still the same five provinces. They haven't done anything. Pomerania hasn't done anything. Mecklenburg hasn't done anything. Thuringia, oh wow, Thuringia annexed someone. Whoop-de-doo, someone did something. But I mean, for the most part, most of the HRE hasn't done a damn thing. HRE is really boring in 5.14. They're not warlike at all. Anyway, let's get to the next save state and see what happens. Man, I'm griping a lot. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be griping. I mean, it's a mod that's created to make the game more fun, and it does. I mean, if you're just coming from vanilla and all of a sudden, the first thing you try is Death and Taxes 5.14, it's a huge change, so of course it's going to be fun. But there's little gripes that I have as they move from version to version to version to version, and I didn't like version 5, but whatever, that's just me. Anyway, 1705. So it is, about 30 years again. Okay, so you can see Brittany has finished its colonizing of Oceania. This is all done. They haven't done any of the islands yet. Well, they did, I guess. They did Flores, but for the most part, they haven't done any of the islands. They just did Australia and New Zealand, and they've been focusing on the Philippines. But you can see these guys, someone came over and took some land from Brittany over here, and this is none other than the Pope. The Pope is in the Philippines, gentlemen. Pope is in the Philippines. Deccan has become extremely powerful because Delhi is weak as fuck. Yuan is like, hey, Delhi, you taste good. Num 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 num. Poor Delhi. Novgorod is just in shambles. So what happened between 1670 and 1705 is, like I said, Poland, Lithuania, and Muscovy went to war with the Mameluks at the same time. At the same time, the Mameluks were at war with Yuan. So what happened is Yuan took all this, Muscovy took all this, Lithuania took some of this, and Poland took some of Asia Minor. So not looking good for the Mamelukes. They had chances to become powerful if they had gone east. If the Mamelukes had just gone east, they probably would have conquered all of India and probably would have been a really big counter to Yuan, and they probably would have stopped Yuan from growing this big. But instead they went north, and going north was it was their downfall. Poor Mamelukes. I really wanted to see them grow powerful, but oh well. New World, not a whole lot going on. I don't know why this happened. Let me explain. France colonized everything from Labrador over to Moose Cree. France colonized all of this. All of this was France. But because they were at war with England, England took all this shit from France. But because none of it was connected to England's lands of North America, it was separate, then England took its troops out and all these places rebelled. Now, the reason they rebelled is because the culture is cosmopolitan, which is, French culture. But when they rebelled, they didn't get turned into France again. They got turned into Alencon for some reason. Even though France was the one who colonized these, they, for some reason, became part of Alencon when they rebelled. I don't understand why, but it's just a stupid little thing. Anyway, not much else happening. Just, whatever. So, France and England, are you at peace? Yes. Finally, truce with England. There you go. 1700. They finally got peace with England. That is amazing. Now, in the peace deal, they took Gascony, Laborde, and Navarra from England. They also took Cornwall. So I thought this was going to be a huge turning point in France's history here, because they were finally going to get the upper hand on England. The way they won the war is they fucking landed troops in England. France actually somehow, I don't know if England's navy was busy over here or whatever, but France actually sent an army over to England, and all of this was crisscrossed blue. France just had everything conquered. So England finally said, oh, okay, you got us, and they gave peace. But the exact day that France got peace with England, all these countries declared war on France. All of them. Burgundy, Aragon, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Aquileia, Congo. But just ridiculous. So now France is at war with all of that. Because, being at war with England wasn't enough for them. Being at war with England from 1365 to 1700. That's 335 years. That wasn't enough. Oh, no. Now they can't even have, 6 months of peace. They didn't even get 1 day of peace. Now they're at war with all this. At some point that's just absurd. But whatever. It's their loss, I guess. So at this point I was thinking, oh God, Burgundy's going to annex most of France, because France is just so weak after that war. And France's troops are still up here in England. They haven't even come back yet. And Burgundy probably has a better navy than France. I know Norway and Sweden definitely do, and Denmark does, so they'll probably blockade France entirely, and they won't be able to get their troops out of England. And you get what I'm saying. Anyway, yep, there we go. Yuan, still not collapsed, not even close. In fact, Yuan has actually pushed into these guys. They left them alone for a long, long time, but now they've pushed into their lands and taken a lot of their shit. So yeah, that is 1705. Let us move on. Ow. Ah. That was 1705, 1740. Here we go. So 35 years later. Okay, well, can you tell Brittany is at war? So yeah, Brittany's at war with England now, and England has just started taking shit at will. Finland owns southern New Zealand. Yeah. The Pope has been colonizing, so the Pope has taken some of New Guinea. Yuan is bigger than ever. Muscovy. Look at Muscovy. Muscovy just went to town on Novgorod. They've just been conquering Novgorod left and right. And now they're at war with Poland, Croatia. Oh, just Poland and Croatia. But yeah, being at war with Poland is not a good idea because Poland is really, really supremely powerful right now. But yeah, look at that. France had all of its armies up here in England. So what happened? Burgundy just ran over them. I mean, there was no chance. There was nothing France could do because their armies were in England. So Burgundy's like, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, troll face. And yeah, the Pope colonized all of this. And it's just hilarious. Umbrian culture, all of this stuff. It's hilarious. Pope colonized all of it, but Pope gets in a lot of wars. Look at this, at war with the Mameluks. Pope got in a lot of wars in this game. So Portugal took all this shit. Aragon took some shit. And who the hell is this? Norway. Norway has part of the Philippines now. Sweden has part of the Philippines now. I mean, just a lot of crazy shit going on. And yeah, if you can read it, that says Deccan. And I thought this was really strange and really cool at the same time because this is considered a region shift. So apparently Europe is over here and Asia is down here. We have Mamlukian Europe and Mamlukian Asia, and the text shows for both, even though it's contiguous. Contiguous means that all the lands are connected in this region. There's no like water between them, and there's no like Lithuania doesn't own a strip down here to divide them up. It's all connected. But even though they're connected, it shows two separate texts. I've never seen that before. I thought that was interesting. That's what she said. Anyway, Deccan annexed Yemen over here. They had them in a personal union, and they inherited Yemen. And Yemen had this province down here. And from this province, they've expanded north into Mutapa. So go Deccan. Now you can see England is down here, kicking around in what used to be Morocco. Not a whole lot else going on. I mean, the major thing... Oh, here we go. Here's the interesting part of Milan's history. At this point, I thought for sure they would form Italy. You know what they did? They annexed Switzerland. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. I've never seen Milan annex Switzerland before. And then they also took a province from the Pope. They also took Sardinia, that island. So I thought they were well on their way to making Milan, but it just didn't happen. And instead of being called Sicily in version 5 of this game, it's called Trinacria. That's the country's name. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's about it. Let's move on to the next save state and see if Yuan will collapse. Probably not. See if Mameluks will collapse further. Probably. And see if anything happens in the New World, because we're almost to the point where the new countries can start spawning. So that was 1740. Let's move on to 1792. I don't know why I have two saves in 1792, but I don't know. Maybe I had to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know. Oh, that's why I had two saves in 1792. Look at this. Let me show you this, okay? Here's Tahiti. Yeah? Yeah? And also we have a factory. What kind of factory is that? A textile manufactory. I think we had a mission to make a textile manufactory. Yeah, whatever. Look at this. We also own Irian now. And I don't know why, I don't know how, but this was Malacca's territory. This was Malacca's territory, and they revolted. And when they revolted, they became part of Tahiti. I don't understand why, because we're the wrong culture, you know? This is Papuan. So I don't understand. But whatever. They spawned as Tahiti. So, and look at this. The country of the Philippines has spawned. The Philippines has spawned in Guinea. They're never going to fix that in this game. When countries spawn, they always spawn in the wrong place. It's funny as shit. This one's close, though. New Zealand spawned down on the southern island. So at least it's in, you know, historical New Zealand, at least. Portugal. Not much happening in Japan. Hosokawa is really dominant here. I thought Imagawa was going to be the dominant power for a while, but Hosokawa has really picked up the pace. They got most of the Uesugi. Yuan, still very powerful. Mameluks lost war after war after war to Poland and Muscovy and Lithuania. And because they've lost all these wars, they've lost a lot of territories to those countries, but they've also been forced to spit out Syria, Iraq, Muzaffarid, Zakoinlu, Persia. They had to spit out all these guys, because Mameluks used to have a lot of shit, and now they don't. So Burgundy and France still at war. This is another example. It's the same country. It's France again, and they just won't get peace. They are entirely conquered. The war score is like 99. The only reason it's not 100 is because Burgundy hasn't come over here and taken that's Sweden now. Oh. Well, I don't know. It should be 100 because France doesn't have anything outside of France. Whatever. So they won't get peace, even though it's at 100 war score. They won't get peace. That bothers me. They should get peace. Well, Poland has actually grown stronger. It may be a little hard to see, but beyond what they've done in the east, they also went to war with Burgundy. And look at this. They took this strip of land from Burgundy. I don't know why they took this strip of land. I thought for sure they would take, you know, I don't know, Styria back. Or maybe they would take, you know, Brandenburg or something. Oh, look, Brandenburg expanded. High five. I was just bitching about how they didn't expand. And now they've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new provinces. High five. But yeah, Poland took this little thing from Burgundy. Good for them. They're just showing Burgundy who's boss. Because Poland is not in the HRE. Oh, Milan's the leader of the HRE right now. But whatever. Poland's not in the HRE. Oh, look at this. Poland even took some shit from Milan. Poland took Ferrara, Parma, and Sardinia from Milan. So there goes Milan's chance of forming Italy. Poland's like, fuck you, I'm Poland. Oh, man. And the New World, haven't seen anything spawn yet. Although this is now called Aragonese Quebec. I guess because Quebec has cores on it. That's fine, I guess. But beyond that, no one has spawned yet. Oh, there we go. Haiti. Haiti spawned in Florida, because you know that's historically where Haiti was, right? Oh man. I still can't get over that Tahiti somehow inherited a province. It's not like we ever been at war. You can't be at war if you're an island horde because the way wars work with hordes is you border somebody and then you're automatically at war with them. You get the hordes are restless pop up. And if you're playing as the horde, you don't really have control over that. It just happens. You just go to war. So that was 1792. Here we are now in 1813. Getting close to the end of the game here. And you can see Britain and England are still at war. Burgundy Burgundy took Perth over here. Philippines is still over here in Guinea. So it's so odd. You would think if the Philippines were going to spawn, that they would spawn in the Philippines, and B, if they're going to spawn somewhere else, which is fine, they should at least get cores on the Philippines, because you are called Philippines. Know what I mean? That would kind of make sense. Anyway, Yuan still blobby as fuck. They even have taken more of Delhi now. They even crossed into Arabia. So go Yuan, looking powerful as fuck. Muscovy has taken a lot of Novgorod. Lithuania has linked up all its lands in Asia Minor. Lithuania used to own Kharkov. A long time ago in a galaxy far away, Lithuania owned Kharkov. You can see they have a core here. Oh, the core actually expires this year. Expires in April 16th. Expires next month. But yeah, they had a core. They had this territory, so they had this all linked up with their homelands. But then they lost that one province to Mameluks. I don't know how they lost a war to the Mameluks, but they did. So they lost that one province, and then Poland, Poland took it. So now Lithuania has two like separate blobs. They have this blob, and then they have this blob. And Muscovy and Poland, I mean, Muscovy and Lithuania are at war. It's not really a big deal. Poland hasn't really done anything. They've just sat here and been super powerful. Go Poland. Oh, they took this from Syria. They took Beirut from Syria. Because, you know, why not? Morocco has most of Western Africa, and they're still at war with all these guys, so they may get more. In the New World, you can see Brazil has spawned, and yes, this is exactly the way that it spawned. It spawned with this contiguous stuff, and then this discontiguous stuff. They got one problem is that they can't even reach because it's in the center. At least these are on the coast, and they can like send boats over to them. But if this one gets a revolt, there's no way they're going to stop it because it's not. They can't even reach the damn thing. Look at this, Louisiana spawned. The USA spawned. And Texas spawned. So there you go, class. Texas is exactly where you would think Ohio is. This is supposed to be the state of Ohio. That is the shape that it is. That is the location that it is. But instead, it is Texas. And Canada has spawned over here. Canada also owns this stuff. And yeah, the New World is becoming a very strange place. Not exactly strange and frightening, but strange nonetheless. Oh yeah, Congo. Look at this. Congo got in a personal union with, I think it was Kanemborno or Sokoto. Well, whoever it was. And then they inherited them. So even though Congo's getting destroyed down here, at least they have this. Oh goodness. I can't believe the Yuan is still this powerful. This is insane. This should not happen. In fact, I've never seen this happen. When people have posted their empires, when they play version 5 or version 5.10 or 5.14, we're on 5.14 here. When they play their version 5 game and they post their empires, the Yuan never exist in 1800. You know, they fall apart a long time ago by like 1500. By like 1500, there shouldn't be any more Yuan because they've collapsed. But in this game, somehow they just pushed on and survived. So high five Yuan. Anyway, let's move on beyond 1813. (1836), almost to the end. Taking longer to load now because there's more history. Okay, not much here except England and Britain got peace. England and Brittany, I mean, got peace. Oh, it's Great Britain now. Finally. They finally got their island all to themselves. So they finally converted to Great Britain. Yeah, you want to see what happens when France and Burgundy stay at war for too long? Okay, this is the original France and Burgundy War. It's still going. It started in 1700 when they got peace with England. So it's been 130 years, and they're still at war with Burgundy. But now the tables have turned. Why have the tables turned, you ask? Because Poland. Poland went to war with Burgundy again, and this time they destroyed all of Burgundy's armies. All of them. So now France says, ha 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 ha, and France finally fought back, and now they've conquered most of Burgundy. But they won't get peace, because the AI, for some reason, doesn't understand how to make peace, and that really is a huge flaw in version 5. The AI just won't get peace. But, whatever. Lithuania has taken some lands down here in Africa. I thought that was really supremely awesome. They have control of Suez. Morocco has unified much of Western Africa. That's awesome. Utah has spawned. Canada still exists. Texas and USA still exist. Not much else going on in North America. It's a clusterfuck. This is just ugly. Really, really ugly. Oh, man. Madagascar spawned. I thought that was really awesome. I've never seen them spawn, ever, 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 ever. But they actually spawned in the right place, and there they are. Deccan doesn't stand a chance against Yuan. So they've slowly just been releasing territories, and they've lost a bunch of shit to Yuan. But, as Muscovy has grown powerful, they are now strong enough to push against Yuan. And this isn't because of military power at all. This is simply technology. Muscovy is green, Yuan is not green. And that makes a huge difference. Later in the game, the more techs you are behind, you're just not going to have a chance against other people who are better tech. Like Poland right now is the only one who is bright green. No other country is bright green. And the reason they're bright green is because they own so much land that is so profitable that they can just research their technologies much faster than anyone else. There's no one who can really do anything about that. If everyone went to war with Poland at the same time, they might have a chance of beating Poland. But for the most part, Poland is supreme. Land tech 78. Yuan, land tech 72. But the problem with Yuan's land tech is that's 72, and that's in the Chinese tech group, which means they are using Eastern Asian units, which are really weak compared to units like Muscovy has, which are in the Orthodox group. The Orthodox group, not Orthodox group, the Occidental group, whatever it is. It means Eastern European. That group has units that are almost as good as Western units. They're not as good, but they're almost as good, and that makes them easy enough to beat Yuan down. Anyway, Delhi is just a shadow of its former self. There's not a whole lot left. Muzaffarids, they're not going to last too long. But yeah, now that Muscovy has the upper hand against Yuan, this really could be the end for them. But it's the end of the game, so it doesn't matter. To me, Yuan has done everything that they set out to do. They're going to survive to they're going to survive until the end of the game. 1861, of course they're going to survive. It's only 25 years away. B, they have expanded like a mother. I just can't believe how much they have done in the time that they've had. The AI will never do this. I've never seen this before. I've never seen the AI be this good at expanding, like controlling the internal revolts, controlling revolt risk, just getting revolt risk down to where you don't have to worry about revolts too much, keeping your stability high. I mean, it's at -1 right now, but for the most part, they've kept their stability up for this entire game. And being at peace with the right people and being at war with the right people. A long time ago, they made an alliance with Taungu, and they have held on to that alliance this entire game. And because of that, they have both prospered. And it's just amazing what you can do if you ally with the right people, and if you get wars with the right people, and if you stay far enough away from the Western groups, then you're fine. That was their downfall. Just like the Mameluks, their downfall was they went north. They went north until they bordered 3 major European powers. That was bad. And Yuan, they went west until they bordered... Yuan at one point bordered Poland and Lithuania and Muscovy, because Yuan had all of this down here. And at that point, that was just bad for them, because then they could all gang up on Yuan. Anyway, enough of my blabbering. You can see France and Burgundy still at war. That's fine. New World, still a clusterfuck. it looks like Portugal. Oh, that's Canada. I thought Portugal might have come in here, but no, this is Canada. Canada has conquered much of Castilian North America and Castilian South America. Well, that's interesting. I don't know how Canada even got its troops down there, but whatever. Oh, look, Quebec spawned. Yes, Quebec has spawned in New York. This is New York, people. This is New York, and this is Pennsylvania, and there's Quebec. Well, whatever. Let them spawn wherever they want. And yeah, that's about it. Oh no, here's one extra thing. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. What color could this be? Australia. Yes, Australia spawned in Sulawesi. I mean, it's close to where they should be, but it's wrong enough that I just want to punch it. It's like, go here. Come on, Australia, just go down there. Just go down there. If you're going to spawn outside of where you should be, like the Philippines are outside of where they should be, A, you should get cores on those lands. And B, maybe your name shouldn't be Australia. Maybe your name should be Sulawesi. And maybe Philippines' name should be Guinea or New Guinea. Because these regions are not quite where they should be. You know what I mean? Countries are just in the wrong place. Deccan annexed Yemen. When they annexed Yemen, they inherited Hokkaido and they inherited Taiwan. I thought that was just kind of cool that Deccan owned all these provinces that are just in Asia, you know. Norway has Sakhalin. It's kind of cool. Aquileia moved their capital over here. Where is it? I don't remember, but they moved their capital over here somewhere because, you know, they have one province in Europe and the rest of Aquileia is over here, so they moved their capital. Milan, poor Milan. Milan collapsed. Milan went to war with Poland several times, and Poland won every time. Obviously, Poland is huge. And so Poland has these three provinces in northern Italy. Poland also has Sardinia. And because they lost all these wars to Poland, they probably lost most of their military. And while they lost their military, Sweden came down and took a lot of Italy. So Sweden now owns a lot of these provinces down here. So that's kind of cool. It kind of sucks for Milan. I was hoping they would form Italy, but whatever. Anyway, let us move on. Move on. I mean, the Mameluks are just self-destructing at this point. Oh, that's the wrong one. Shit. I clicked on the wrong one. I was playing Japan as Ouchi, whatever. And I was just, you know, fast forwarding and conquering some shit. Anyway, 1846. The penultimate save file. If it will ever load. Come on, buddy. There we go. I'm not your buddy, pal. I'm not your pal, guy. I'm not your guy, friend. Anyway, here we are, 1846, coming into the end of the game here. It's only been 10 years since the last save file, so the reason I made so many save files toward the end is because Yuan started to collapse. They started to lose wars because Muscovy is just really powerful right now. Muscovy doesn't own the right territories to form Russia, and to me that's just stupid. At this point, they are the dominant Russian entity, dominant Russian nation. So they should be able to form Russia, but they can't because they don't own the right provinces. They don't own Novgorod. I think that's the one that's holding them back. If they own Novgorod, they could form Russia, but whatever. Anyway, just like Poland can't form anything because they don't own like one or two provinces that are over here in Lithuania, which is just retarded, but whatever. France and Burgundy still at war. They just won't get peace. It's just ridiculous. It's been forever. It's been 150 years and they won't get peace. It's just stupid as shit. Nothing else spawned down here. No Paraguay. Wait, who's this? La Plata. So here's Argentina. Argentina has spawned at the Falkland Islands. That's it. That's all they get. And no, they don't get cores on all this shit, even though they probably should. Nothing else up here. At one point, the USA and Texas were both at war with Britain at the same time, and they had conquered all of this. USA and Texas had conquered all of this. And then Britain took Manahawk, Powhatan, and Pamlico. And the moment Britain took these three provinces from the USA surrendered. So instead of getting anything out of all the shit that they had conquered, instead of getting anything, they gave up Manahawk, or Manahoac. You can see they have a core here. USA has a core here. And after all that, because none of what they conquered was part of Britain's homeland, the USA's war score was something stupid like 5%, maybe it was 10%. But when Britain took these three provinces, all of a sudden the war score was like 60% in Britain's favor. It's just absurd. So USA and Texas lost that war. It's so dumb. I hate that. I don't know if they're ever going to be able to fix that in any of these mods, but that's just so retarded. Anyway, Lithuania and Poland finally gave up the ghost. They're not going over the Mameluks anymore because the Mameluks are just toast. They're just done. Swahili is winning wars against the Mameluks now. Arabia and Yemen are winning wars against the Mameluks now. Morocco is pushing into the Mameluks' lands. I mean, it's just poor Mameluks. After they started so well, now they're just crap. Still no unification in Japan. It's just not going to happen. Too close to the end of the game. Novgorod is still losing. And this is pretty much how it's going to end up. So let's just move on to the last save file because it's pretty much over. But yeah, I enjoyed playing this way. You know, just not playing at all, not doing anything. The only thing we did as Tahiti is as we gained technologies, we built buildings in our regions. Still can't recruit units. Even at the very end of the game, we're still not allowed to recruit units. So all we can do is build buildings, which we did. We built universities and fine arts academies. End of game. Oh, shit. I can't get that message out of here. I can't even move that message. Oh well, let's try to look around that message and see in the New World, the UPCA, United Provinces of Central America, have spawned. They own this part of Mexico and they own this part of Central America. So they spawned in two places. I thought that was kind of cool, but kind of shitty at the same time because their army is obviously down here, and yet they're losing this war to Portugal. Mexico spawned and they got peace right away. They don't have connected territory, which kind of bothers me, but whatever. Morocco did really well. I think Morocco needs a big high five because they took all of Western Africa. And I think that's really stupid in the long run. Like, it shouldn't happen, but I think it's cool that they did it. So high five to them for doing it. They survived. They're powerful. They have a lot of gold. They have good technology. They have good troops, and they're, winning wars against the Mamelukes. Muscovy and Yuan finally got peace. Muscovy got a lot of land from Yuan. But look at this. This is the end of the game, and Yuan is still Asia's largest country. They're the world's largest country. They're not the strongest country. Poland is the strongest country, but they're the world's largest country. So high five to Yuan for existing throughout this campaign. And Ming and Fang and these guys, they never had a chance. They never even did anything against them. Taungu, being Yuan's ally, has grown significantly, so high five to Taungu. Deccan, I want a high five because they took over most of southern India, peninsular India. This is called the peninsular portion. They took over most of that. Whereas Delhi should get a high five for being successful in most of the Middle East and northern India. They did really well until they broke their alliance. Delhi and Yuan were allied for a long time, and that was good for both of them. But the moment they broke their alliance with each other, Yuan just went, fuck you, and just totally kicked Delhi's ass. More high fives go out to Muscovy, because Muscovy really usually does win the war. If you want to talk about who's going to be the dominant Russian faction, it's usually Muscovy. But still, the way that they did it, the way they had so much pressure from the Mameluks coming up from the south, they had pressure from Poland and Lithuania constantly at war with them. They had pressure from Novgorod in the north, from Yuan in the east. Even though they had pressure from all these guys around them, they wound up getting the right alliances to kind of balance everything out. Like when they were at war with the Mamelukes, they were allied with Lithuania and Poland. That was the right alliance they needed to go to war with the Mamelukes. So eventually they were able to beat the Mamelukes. It took a long time. They lost a lot of wars, but eventually they won the right wars that they wound up expanding. And then they took a lot of land from Lithuania, and the way they did that was they allied with Poland. And while they were allied with Poland, Poland took some of these territories, and pretty much Poland destroyed Lithuania's armies, and then Muscovy took whatever they wanted. So that was the right thing to do for them. And then going to war with Yuan, well, that was just a matter of getting large enough and getting powerful enough and having a big enough army to actually matter. Because even though their tech was a lot better than Yuan, and then their units are a lot better than Yuan, just having far less numbers made it impossible for them to win. But as they slowly took lands from the Mamelukes and from Lithuania and stuff, they grew powerful enough to fight Yuan, and that really was a game changer for them. If this campaign went on to, say, 1950, another 100 years, no doubt, Muscovy would have a lot of this, probably out to where my cursor is. They would probably just take all this shit. Because Lithuania and Poland do not border Yuan anymore. They used to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but now only Muscovy. So Muscovy would be free to take all this shit, and they probably would take all this shit. Anyway, France and Burgundy never got peace. It's been 161 years since that war started. They have not got peace, even though it started out 100% Burgundy's favor. Now it's 100% France's favor, but they can't get peace. The AI just doesn't understand. Duh, it's been 100 years. I should get peace by now. Duh. It just doesn't work. It doesn't happen. It's even been going on so long that provinces, Artois, Zeeland, and Antwerp, these three provinces have fucking become French lands because France has conquered them for so long. They just became French lands. They didn't even have to get peace for it. They just became French lands. It's just ridiculous. It's been going on for so long. Well, the war with England went on longer, and that was even more ridiculous. But it's just a continuation of the flaw in the game mechanic, where they just won't get peace. AI should be able to get peace like that. Anyway, Japan never formed. Hosokawa was really close, but they never did enough to form Japan, which is disappointing. But whatever. So yeah, that is the world in 1861. That was the entire campaign. It took me about a week to play. Well, not play. I just watched it happen. It took about a week to watch, and it was fun because just being outside of the game and just letting it do everything on its own is entertaining. It's like watching TV, but it's more interesting because, well, TV sucks. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this very short series here. This is just going to be one episode, about an hour and 20 minutes. And I hope YouTube will make it 720 quality. If it doesn't, then I'll split it into 2 episodes. Not 720, 1080p. That's what it should be. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed this thing. I hope you enjoyed watching Poland expand. I did. I hope you enjoyed watching France not be able to annex any of its vassals because they've been at war since day one. France has been in 2 wars. That's it. France has been in 2 wars this entire campaign. One of them was war with England, which they never could figure out how to get peace, and the other one's war with Burgundy, which they can't figure out how to get peace, and that's just stupid. There's a couple things that bother me about Poland. Like Poland, they never went to war with Transylvania, so they never took this little penis-shaped thing from their lands, and they never went to war with the Ottomans to take anything of this. The only war they ever had with the Ottomans is when they took Plovdiv, Sofia, Pleven, and Kozani. Those 4 were Ottoman lands, and Poland took them, and that's it. They've never been at war with the Ottomans again. They went to war with the Mamelukes a lot, and from the Mamelukes they took all of this. And they went to war with Burgundy a few times, went to war with Lithuania a few times. Whatever. I think Poland, big high five. They looked like they were on the brink of destruction. They had 6 provinces. They were cut in half by being forced to spit out Ukraine, and yet they still managed to get a personal union and inherit Austria and inherit Bohemia, which totally transformed them into the world's superpower. Lithuania, I can't high-five them. They did well. They had the right allies, but they were pinched in between Poland and Muscovy, and it's never good to be the pickle in the middle. I'm telling you. You know, Muscovy and Poland are the powers in this game. The only other one who might be considered a power is Britain, because Britain has a lot of land, but they're not that powerful compared to Poland and Muscovy. And Lithuania, you just can't be, you know, they didn't have a chance. Alliances never last forever. That's one major fact in this game. Alliances do not last forever. And just having these two superpowers on either side of you just is sucks for you. Because at one point, Lithuania used to be powerful as well. They're like, hey, let's be buddies. Let's go kick everyone's ass. And then they kind of looked at their neighbors and they're like, the only people we border are two superpowers. Who am I going to go to war with? I guess I can go to war with Poland. Wrong. I guess I can go to war with Muscovy. Wrong. Oh, poor Lithuania. They did well enough. They did well enough. They'll get a high 3 for doing pretty good. For what they had to work with, they did pretty good. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching Yuan exist until the end of the game. And I'll see you next time in another Let's Play. But I'm not going to do another EU3 until version 6 comes out, which is probably a couple months down the road. So hang in there, people. We'll get there.